The Crow's reviews are poor. So starting this out, I had my good buddy Gavin. Gavin Cross sent me a video about his thoughts on this. So let's take a look at this, and then we'll read some Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
As someone who has not seen the original 1994 version of The Crow and someone who has not read the graphic novel, I found the new film, The Crow, to be a bit of a disappointment. Skarsgård is fine when he isn't speaking. FKA Twigs is also unfortunately not great, and their chemistry just isn't very believable. On top of that, you had to have very sluggish pacing and a very uninteresting villain, and it all just accumulates in a messy action romance movie that I just didn't care for.
So there was Gavin's thoughts on The Crow. What do other people have to say about The Crow? We're going to go to Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to read some of these small little blurbs from people I trust very much. And the first one is from one of the greatest critics on the face of the planet. That is from Next Best Picture, Matt Neglia. Matt Neglia says, overall, The Crow is not only a missed opportunity that fails to justify its existence, but an endeavor that should have been laid to rest many years ago. Going down here to Adam. Adam says, The Crow should have stayed dead. Flickering Myth. Robert, great critic. I haven't spoken to him myself, but I'd like to get to know the guy. Fantastic critic says, aside from one brutally satisfying action sequence, The Crow is a series of events stitched together with no build-up, logic, or momentum. For a movie about star-crossed soulmates, it has no soul. Dennis Harvey from Variety says, This reinvention's we are going to skip that one because I can't read that fast. Oh, wait a minute. Robert. Oh my God, Robert. I love this dude. He has some of the greatest, just smart ass takes on movies. He says it's like an anti-entertainment protest. Sure. Spooky Astronauts. If you don't know who Spooky Astronauts is, Emma, fantastic YouTuber. She does these videos every so often, almost every single day, talking about horror, what she watched that month, everything coming out in the horror space. She says it's mid. Jeremy Johns, we all know Jeremy Johns, the most subscribed to YouTuber in the movie space. All I see is a movie that drags on, has pacing issues, but with no real feeling of payoff. Going down here to Brandon Yu. This guy is great from the New York Times, but ultimately what this version, directed by Rupert Sanders, is spiritually, let me see. Does he say anything of substance? Okay. Is neither the film nor the comic, but rather the flattened popular image that the film produced. A Hot Topic style version of alternative consciousness. This guy is great. Let me see if we have one from Perry Nemiroff, because Perry Nemiroff is, I think, the greatest critic in the written space. Drum Dums gives it a positive review. This guy's a bit of a wild card here because he'll either love a movie or he'll really enjoy a movie. Skarsgård and FKA Twigs actually have great chemistry, and there are some big heart moments between the two in the story. It's messy and pacing, and the villain department, but the final act goes super hard and bloody. Mark from Mark Reviews Movies. I read this guy's reviews all the time. He says, this blandly visualized and haphazardly executed movie isn't what the genre needs, we want, or the material deserves. Going down here a little bit further to Roger Moore. He says, never overcomes a general heartlessness that permeates even the abrupt romance that supposedly launches and drives it. Wow. So they're loving it. They're loving this movie. They really, really are. Going down here to read a little bit more of these, we're going to go with William Bibbiani. William Bibbiani, I'm just going to read a little bit of this. When you stifle the emotional simplicity of a story like The Crow to emphasize the plot had better make sense, and it doesn't. It's got perplexing rules, a vague, he's not being very nice. Do we have anybody else who's going to give a positive review that I actually trust the opinion of? Rachel. Okay. Rachel from the Mary Sue. This story of love and the desperation one feels to get back makes The Crow a worthwhile movie to see. So as you can tell, it's a bit of a mixed movie, but if you go up here, what does this number say? We're going to take a look at this number because this movie does not look like it is getting the most beloved reviews in the world. Coming down here, it says it has a 21%, up from 19. I was in my group chat, and me and the guys were like, hey, what do you think this is going to be at? Some people thought 40. I thought 35. No way it goes below 35. Well, you know, things happen. Things happened. I wanted this to be good. I really did. I really wanted to. This movie should have been great. But what are your thoughts on The Crow? I'm not going to be able to see it until it comes to streaming. I have a feeling it'll be out on digital in 3 weeks. This isn't going to make a lot of money at the box office. If you watched my last show, I talked about the box office projections. It's going to do just about the same as Borderlands, unfortunately. It's not going to make even $40 million worldwide, I don't think, in its overall theatrical run. But what are your thoughts on the comments on The Crow? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.